chill code assessment, as well as the 5-star lifestyle quiz assessment. For those of you who are unaware, this the 25 Blueprint Academy is where you will find both those two things online. And in this video series, we're going to be going over what your 25 Blueprint lifestyle score quiz or your 5-star lifestyle score quiz results are, as well as your chill code results, okay, your quiz assessment. So with that said, let's take a look at what the chill code is and what it's about, right? As I mentioned, this video will give you an opportunity to assess yourself or look at what your assessment means and what it implies. And just as a reminder, the chill code is part of a 4-step process that overwhelmed business owners turn to for getting more done, stress less, and grow their business. Now, first of all, I want to acknowledge you for really doing a great job as far as taking that initial leap towards your own self-actualization or improvement. It's not to be taken lightly or taken for granted that you would just take that initiative and decide that perhaps today is the day that you want to do something different to improve your ability to become a higher performing executive, professional, or business owner in your craft. So let's talk about the rating system that you just used. There's 2 rating systems. One is the 5-star rating system, as you see here, which is similar to what you would find on any website, especially Amazon, where you are picking between goods and maybe sometimes some services, but primarily goods, as I'm familiar with using Amazon for, and you would rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5. The second rating system that's used in this methodology is 5 emotions, or known as emoticons. And those emoticons range from one state where you are extremely unsatisfied to the other side of it where you are extremely satisfied. Now these two systems run together, okay? And you'll find out how they do that. So let's say you scored a 1 or 2, which is why you're watching this video. If you scored a 1 or 2, you'll find that you are in that first 2 category of the emoticon scale. And what's the significance of that? What does this mean? Well, here's what that means. If you scored a 1 or a 2, right? It means you're feeling a certain amount of extreme unsatisfaction, or you're just generally unsatisfied with your entire life as it is, or in a particular area if you rated yourself that way in a particular area, right? But if you overall your score came out to a 1 or a 2, these are the 2 spaces or emotions that you will find yourself feeling. Now let's talk about what your possible challenges and struggles are and why it is this way. So if you scored a 1 or 2, as I mentioned, in a specific area, right, or overall, this means that you're struggling to find your sense of purpose in that area. Now you might lack sufficient motivation, and emotionally you're feeling some things, okay? So here's what those emotions might be. You might be feeling angry, afraid, anxious, and hopeless about just the results you've produced in that area so far, or just overall. And what you need to do is actually ask yourself some key questions. So as far as what you should do, you've got to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Whatever that activity is, or the collection of activities are, you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? And then along with that, as far as what you can do, is you want to ask, why am I doing what I'm doing that takes up the most energy, right? So whatever that thing is, it includes work, right? Why are you truly actually doing it? And you may have to ask yourself that question about 5 or 7 times until you really truly get to the why, right? Because if you don't have an adequate why or inspiration to get started and head towards action, you won't be consistent, right? So it's important that you really ask yourself this question. And then the other question is it worth it? When you do find out what that why is, you got to ask yourself, whatever's on the other side of the why, is it worth it? And if it's not, what would be worth it, right? What would make it worth your while? All right. So the coaching tip, if you scored a 1 or a 2, which also addresses the question of what you should do, is based on a playbook, which is the 25 Blueprint playbook, that has some principles and ideologies and methodologies for you to actually really begin to elevate where you find yourself now, if you are on a scale of 1 to 2, to being able to get to that state of extreme satisfaction. So here's the 25 Blueprint playbook, And here's one of the pages that is inside that 24-hour blueprint. So to give you an idea, it's on page 7, and that's a part of the playbook that charts what's called the 10 worlds of the human condition. Now you can use the 10 worlds of the human condition section of the playbook to make sure your mindset and consciousness is in the right place. This section also contains this ancient Buddhist model of the human condition, and walks you through all the states of consciousness that inspire human behavior, from hell, which is world number 1 that you see at the bottom, to Buddhahood, which is the world of enlightenment. And it's profound and can help you determine or create a new level of consciousness to bring to your daily tasks and activities and increase performance. So if you're interested in downloading this particular piece of the playbook, right, that link will be made available for you below. Now, of course, along with that, if you choose or you prefer to actually have the entire playbook, which contains not just this page, but many others that are in their totality, make up the 24-hour blueprint methodology, you are also going to be given an opportunity to do that. But for now, if you just want to only access or read up on the 24-hour blueprint, or I should say the 10 worlds of the human condition, that information is made available for you to decide what they are for you, where you stand on that scale, and where you want to go next. So that being said, there's an opportunity as well for you to follow through on your chill code journey. As you are already experiencing, you've taken step 1, which is to take the quiz and score yourself. Step 2 is to review your score. And step 3 is for you to improve your score. And to do that, you have an opportunity to actually improve your score by watching a training, which is the chill code training, also sometimes known as the 24-hour blueprint training, that walks you through the 4 steps to the chill code process, right, which is an ultimate lifestyle design program. So that being said, take advantage of that opportunity to, 1, download the 10 worlds so you can understand that better, and or just read up on it online, as you'll see in a moment. And then as for the training, to give you the opportunity to really understand how to execute and go from 1 to 2 and reach 5, which is extreme satisfaction, you'll have an opportunity to watch that webinar below. Thanks so much for watching. And this is Boo Madu again, founder of the 24-hour Blueprint Academy, creator of the 24-hour Blueprint Method. And I look forward to seeing you in the upcoming videos.